Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, he'll head to the he's going to the White House as of right now. He's meeting with President Trump. Top of the agenda, my opinion, Iran. Joining us now, Council on Foreign Relations President and author of that book, A World in Disarray, Richard Haass, is with us now. I think, Richard, and you straighten me out on this one, this is all about the Iran nuke deal and the president's plans to tear it up in May and what the Saudis are going to do about it and what they think about it. Where am I going wrong?
I think you're essentially right. For the Saudis, Iran is public enemy number one. The recent comments of the Saudi Crown Prince comparing the Ayatollah to none other than Adolf Hitler made that clear. And the Saudis are focused not just on Iranian nuclear capabilities, but on Iranian reach throughout the Middle East, in Yemen, in Syria, and elsewhere.
But there's another side to this. I mean, yes, the Crown Prince is rolling back, President Trump is rolling back his predecessor's agenda, the Iran nuke deal, but the Crown Prince, he's rolling back political Islam. He's saying he wants Saudi Arabia to be a normal Muslim country as opposed to the extremist Wahhabi country that they've been. This is a real rollback, isn't it?
It's a big idea if it comes to fruition, and you're seeing it in many ways. You know, symbolic but also real things like women being able to drive cars is meaningful. You see the state putting real constraints on the so-called religious police to intimidate and harass people. So yeah, I think you're seeing a legitimate reform program coming from the top down in Saudi Arabia.
Trump and the Crown Prince seem like they're perfect together. They're both going in the same direction. And who would have thought we'd see the Crown Prince at the White House when the Crown Prince is actually talking to the Israelis? Who would have thought?
Well, we'll see, though, whether that really comes to anything. The administration didn't help itself with the Saudis, with the unilateral move of the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. That's not what the Saudis particularly wanted. It made it more difficult for them to play a role with the Palestinians. You could also have differences between the two on Saudi nuclear ambitions. Saudi Arabia wants to have a civilian nuclear program. They want to have the ability to enrich uranium and reprocess plutonium. This is not something the United States wants to see. So I'd also watch that space.
But are you comfortable with the two getting together in this fashion, discussing these subjects?
Well, look, I'm an old-fashioned diplomat. I'm always in favor of people getting together. And the fact that you've got this new Saudi leader and an American president, who, by the way, they're 40 years apart in age, if they can find some common cause, among other things, about how to deal with the Iranian, what I would call the imperial Iranian challenge to the Middle East, that would be good. If they can get a settlement to the war in Yemen, a big goal, that would be great. I probably don't share your enthusiasm for ripping up the Iran agreement. What I'd like to do is see that agreement extended. These so-called sunset provisions, I believe, were a mistake, and I'd like to see the agreement essentially open-ended.
As a long-time diplomat, 40 years as a diplomat, you must have a very hard time accepting the iconoclastic Donald Trump.
The short answer is in many cases I do. I just talked about the Iran agreement. We'll see what happens with North Korea. Just before I came on, you were talking about these tariffs. Yeah. And I think these will be bad on balance for American workers and for the American economy. Look, Mr. Trump and I have had this conversation. I think free trade, it's on balance, helped this country strategically and economically. He disagrees. I think America's world leadership has, on balance, served this country well, and we've benefited far more than it's cost. Again, he disagrees. He's president, though, and I'm not.
Richard Haass, it was a pleasure having you on the show, and I do hope you'll come back, sir. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it.